Ever wondered why vulnerability management is crucial in network administration? Well, let's delve into that. Vulnerability management is like the immune system of your network, constantly scanning for and defending against potential threats. It identifies, classifies, prioritizes, and rectifies vulnerabilities in network systems, acting as a guardian against cyber threats. Imagine your network as a fortress. Vulnerability management is the sentinel tirelessly patrolling the perimeter, spotting weaknesses in the defenses, prioritizing them based on the potential harm, and then strategizing the best way to fortify these weak points. This proactive approach to network security helps to prevent breaches before they occur, rather than reacting after the damage is done. But it isn't just about preventing attacks, it's about building resilience. By continually identifying and rectifying vulnerabilities, we create a network that can withstand attacks, bounce back quickly when breaches occur, and adapt to ever-evolving threats. In essence, vulnerability management is an indispensable part of network administration. Now that you understand its importance, delve into the actual process of vulnerability management. It's a fascinating world, a continuous cycle that is broken down into 4 main steps: discovery, reporting, prioritization, and response. In the discovery phase, we identify potential threats and weaknesses in the system, like a scout surveying unknown territory. Following discovery, we move to reporting. Here, detailed documentation of all identified vulnerabilities takes place. Think of it as a cartographer mapping the landscape of potential risks. Next, we have prioritization. Not all vulnerabilities are created equal. Some pose a greater risk than others, hence they need to be addressed sooner. It's like a triage system, deciding which patient needs immediate attention. Finally, we have the response phase. Here we react to the vulnerabilities identified either by patching, mitigation, or accepting the risk, depending on its severity. Now let's break down each step to better understand how they contribute to a secure network. Discovery is the first and perhaps the most crucial step in the vulnerability management process. It's a bit like being a detective, embarking on a quest to uncover hidden information. In the context of network administration, this means identifying all the assets and systems within a network. It's a comprehensive list, encompassing everything from servers to workstations, software applications, and even mobile devices. But it's not just about listing assets. It's about checking these assets for vulnerabilities, those tiny cracks in the armor that could let a cyber threat slip through. This is where automated tools come into play. They tirelessly scan every nook and cranny of your network, looking for potential weaknesses. They're the bloodhounds of the digital world, sniffing out vulnerabilities that might otherwise go unnoticed. These tools are invaluable because they offer speed, accuracy, and coverage that manual processes simply cannot match. They make the discovery process efficient and effective. A thorough discovery process sets the stage for an effective vulnerability management program. Once vulnerabilities are discovered, they need to be reported and prioritized. This is a fundamental step in the vulnerability management process, and it's one that requires a meticulous approach. First, let's talk about reporting. When a vulnerability is identified within a network, it's not enough simply to acknowledge its existence. A detailed report needs to be created. This report should outline the nature of the vulnerability, where it was discovered, and any potential risks it could pose to the network. It should also include any technical details that could aid in understanding the vulnerability and how to address it. The more comprehensive the report, the better equipped network administrators will be to tackle the problem. Now, once all vulnerabilities have been reported, they need to be prioritized. This is where the concept of risk assessment comes into play. Not all vulnerabilities pose the same level of threat. Some might be minor issues that, while still needing attention, do not pose an immediate risk. Others might be severe, threatening the functionality or even the security of the entire network. Prioritization is the process of ranking these vulnerabilities based on their severity and the potential impact they could have. This involves considering factors such as how easily the vulnerability could be exploited, the potential damage it could cause, and how critical the affected system or data is to the network's operation. By doing this, network administrators can ensure that the most dangerous vulnerabilities are addressed first, maximizing the effectiveness of their response. This process isn't just about making a list and ticking off boxes, though. It's about understanding the nuances of each vulnerability, considering the wider context of the network, and making informed decisions about where to direct resources. It's about balancing the need for security with the practical realities of network administration. In a nutshell, reporting and prioritizing are all about turning the raw data from the discovery phase into a clear, actionable plan. It's about taking control of the situation and making strategic decisions to protect the network. Effective reporting and prioritization ensure that the most critical vulnerabilities are addressed first. The final step in the vulnerability management process is the response. It's the moment where strategy meets action. Response strategies can take various forms, each with its own pros and cons. Patching, for instance, is a common response where the discovered vulnerability is fixed or patched to prevent exploitation. Then there's mitigation. In this strategy, we might not be able to eliminate the vulnerability, but we can definitely minimize its potential impact. Acceptance is another strategy, usually reserved for when the cost of fixing a vulnerability outweighs the potential damage. Essentially, you acknowledge the risk, but choose not to address it immediately. The importance of a swift and appropriate response cannot be overstated. The faster we act, the less opportunity there is for malevolent actors to exploit identified vulnerabilities. To recap, the vulnerability management process is a continuous cycle of discovery, reporting, prioritization, and response. It's an essential aspect of network administration, ensuring the protection of our digital assets and the smooth operation of our systems. From the initial discovery phase, where we identify potential weak spots in our network, to the reporting and prioritization stages, where we assess the severity and potential impact of these vulnerabilities, each step is critical. But it doesn't stop there. The response phase, where we take action to mitigate or completely remove these vulnerabilities, is equally important. Yet the real key here is the concept of continuity. This process isn't a one-time deal, it's a cycle, a loop. It's about continuous monitoring, regular updates, and constant vigilance. It's about staying proactive, not reactive. Remember, in the world of network administration, staying a step ahead in vulnerability management can be the difference between a secure network and a compromised one.